Okay, now we will be covering wages and marginal revenue products, which also looks a bit difficult at first glance, but again, once you understand, this thing is as easy as one, two, three. So obviously, first thing when you look at a graph, you look at its y-axis and its x-axis because those are your first 2 marks or sometimes half a marks. But it's wages and marginal revenue product. And marginal revenue product, just think of it as a fancy word to say productivity. And then here we have two titles under the x-axis, and that's training and post-training. We'll get to that just in a second. But we're going to address firstly the line that's in black, okay? That's the starting point. That is why it's in black. So whenever you see a graph and there's colors to it, look at the blacks because that's where they want you to look first, okay? But W equals MRPU. What does this mean? This means that the wages of an untrained worker equals the marginal revenue product of an untrained worker. So these wages equal your productivity, and this is when you are untrained. So this is what this line represents. And this is the starting basis for an untrained worker. Yeah, that's all you need to know. This is a starting point. And what happens when you start training? This drops. Why would your wages drop when you start training, right? Well, this is because your productivity, your marginal revenue product, also drops and they're equal to each other. And so they lower your wages during training, which is pretty unfair because for general training, you have to pay for it for yourself because it can be used in other firms and it's not just specific to the firm that you're training in. But yeah, so it drops down to here during training, and then post training, what happens? Do you return back to your starting points? No, obviously not, because now you're trained enough to receive higher wages and also increase your productivity. And so your wages equal your productivity again, and now this new line is how much you're making now because you have trained. See, very simple, not very difficult to understand. It just looks like that at first glance. If there's anything I would want to go through here, yeah, just remember, like if you see you, just remember untrained. P, remember post-training. Like try, and then this is training. Try to remember the titles that way so you don't get confused, but don't cram. My biggest thing here is do not cram, guys. Just try to understand, because once you understand, you'll get the marks. Because you can just explain, or okay, this is our starting point. What it is, what it means, it equals each other. You drop down, always mention, okay, wages now equal marginal revenue product of a trained worker. Like just name everything you see on the graph, and you'll definitely get the marks.